Hi, I'm Emeline Lakrout, and I'm the president of the UT Disability Advocacy Student Coalition. I'm here today both in my capacity as now former DASC president, but also as a proud disabled graduate. I'm celebrating my graduation today with a bachelor's in business administration in marketing, and after I graduate, I'll be leaving the great state of Texas to become an associate brand manager at Unilever in New York City. I've been visually impaired most of my life, and as a kid, I didn't think much of it. I didn't know that society saw disability as an unfortunate, sad thing, so I just lived my life like any other kid. And in the 5th grade, I started playing the trumpet. Now, at the time, my band teacher and my parents worked together to print music sheets that I could read, and I could play along with my classmates for years. But things changed when I got to high school, where everyone in band was expected to march. The band director there didn't see how a blind girl could march, and so I was told that if I wanted to join, I would have to hang out on the sidelines. This was the first time my disability affected what I could do, and it brought a lot of shame. I can assure you, though, that after my experience here at UT, the days of hanging out on the sidelines are over. It started 4 years ago when I met my SSD coordinator, Emily, who's a wheelchair user. Emily would go on to be a mentor and advisor to me during my whole time at UT. But that first interaction was the very first time I saw a disabled person living their life out and proud. And I started to think, maybe it was okay to be disabled. This was the power of the disabled helping the disabled. Soon after, I walked into my very first DASC meeting, and I met lots of other disabled students who were proud of exactly who they were. I was not just allowed in, I was welcomed for the first time ever. And I learned that disability was not an unfortunate, sad thing. It was just a part of me, the good and the bad. This was the power of community. My sophomore year, I started to understand that there was still a lot of progress that needed to be made when it came to accessibility on campus. I myself had been affected when I almost tripped over some stairs that didn't have handrails near McCombs. I didn't exactly know what to do to fix this, but a fellow DASC member told me about how she had gotten a new automatic door opener installed just by talking to a professor. So I approached Dr. Platt, who was at the time a dean at McCombs but is now a vice provost, and it took some time and some collaborative efforts, but 6 months later, my very favorite handrails appeared. DASC went on to do amazing things, from having a bill about disability inclusion in sports voted out of committee at state Congress, to getting over $200,000 of funds allocated towards student requests on campus. This is the power of dedication. I'm not going to sugarcoat the reality of disability either. Despite efforts by DASC, SSD, and other dedicated campus partners, disability means hardship, stigma, and discrimination. In fact, most disabled students here are diagnosed while they're at UT, after facing enormous difficulties trying to live a successful college life. But this challenge creates strength, character, and adaptability, creativity, and problem-solving ability. This struggle makes us better versions of ourselves and gives us unique skills that nobody else has. This is the power of disability. I know that this is not the graduation that we always imagined, but that doesn't mean it can't be one that we remember. We might have missed 2 months of our dedicated time at UT, but we still have the years that we did spend on the 40 acres. We remember the midnight Wendy's runs, the construction that never seemed to stop or rather move around campus, the pure joy we experienced when the Target first opened. We, as students with disabilities, are uniquely qualified to adapt to the current challenging situations. And we know that the key to succeeding now is taking charge in our experience and actively creating a silver lining to ensure that when life returns to a semblance of normalcy, we're able to say, well, at least since that happened, 4 years after getting lost for 45 minutes between Jester and the Student Services building, I am so grateful to be here in this moment. I'd like to thank the professors, the ones who made sure we always had all our questions answered during exams, the ones who supported us, and the ones who challenged us. To the parents, thank you for bringing us food and always reminding us that everything will be okay. Thank you to SSD for enabling our rights and helping us when things went wrong. Thank you to DASC for always seeking new ways of helping the community. And most of all, thank you, my fellow graduates. Whether I advocated alongside you, saw you around, or simply felt your presence, you have made me a proud disabled Longhorn. Class of 2020, we made it.